Welcome to the Ethan Live podcast. It is Friday, August the 15th. We are happy to get back into our Hero Dog semifinalist series of podcasts, which means, well, first of all, let's talk about this real quick. Hero Dog Awards is open for voting through September the 15th. Go to AmericanHumane.org. Go to the Hero Dog Awards. You can vote once a day in each category, so you get 5 votes a day. Please make sure you vote in each category each day. It really makes a big difference for all these wonderful folks that are doing great things. And so today we are happy to be joined by therapy semifinalist Sgt Bo and his person Faye. Faye, how are you doing today?
I'm great.
That's good.
How are you guys?
We're good.
What part of, tell everybody what part of the country that you're in.
We are just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, in Hendersonville, but I think it shows Nashville because that's where we work.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not far from us. We're up in the Louisville area. I was telling Debbie yesterday, we just meet you halfway and just do this podcast in person somewhere.
Well, I actually am going to be there tomorrow.
You're
I'm
going to
be in Louisville tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, where are you going to be? Maybe we can meet up.
Don't know what part of Louisville. I have my son's getting married, so future daughter-in-law has a bridal shower.
Oh, congrats!
That we're going to drive up for.
Well, congrats.
Well, you got my number. If you got a few minutes, text us.
I'll have to figure out where it is. So.
All right. That sounds good. Well, before we jump into Sgt Bo and the incredible stuff that you guys are doing, tell everybody a little bit about how your background, before Sgt Bo, and how you got into law enforcement and sort of your background and what you've been up to.
So I was with the Metro Police Department for 34 and a half years. I started June 27th, 1991. Worked about 8 years on the street. And then I worked about 8 years, something like that, as a detective working child abuse, infant death, and child sex crimes. And then I went into the schools. I spent the last 18 years working different schools as an SRO. Yes. If you ask me, at the time I wanted to become a police officer, I think I was 22 or 23. And I thought I wanted to do something different every day. Had no idea what I wanted to do, but I wanted to be doing something different. I wanted to help people. So against my parents' better judgment, that's the direction that I went and worked with the same police department for 34 and a half years. And, wasn't ready to leave when we left, but it was time for him to go. And so since they let him go, I decided that it was time for me to go too.
Right.
So I actually retired, started the academy or finished the academy. June 27th was my graduation date in 91. June 27th of 2025 was my last day on the police department. So came full circle.
Well, yeah, you like to keep those dates the same, don't you?
Do what?
You like to keep those dates the same, don't you?
I don't know how that worked out, but it just seemed like a good day to leave.
How long were you partnered with Sgt Bo?
I got him in December of 2022 is when I got him, and then we started January of 2023. Okay. So he ended up having ACL surgery in January, and honestly, he would have healed from it, and he healed good up until, he just had another surgery. But the police department felt like that his future expenses were going to be too much, at least the section I worked for. So they decided to retire him. So I decided to retire at that point so that we can continue what we're doing with me as a volunteer. Had I stayed at work, I would have been in the schools without him. So I felt like we were going to work at least another 3 or 4 years, even though people thought I was nuts for being on that long. I could have left 10 years ago. And there's a backstory to that. Was it 2020 when you had all the protests about the police and it seemed like nobody liked the police? And so, this is a career. This is something that I've spent a lot of my life doing. And it was really hurtful when kids didn't like the police just because of what they heard. And being in the schools, that's what I saw. And so I kind of set out on a mission. At the time I was in middle schools. I got permission to go to elementary schools. I'd play football with the boys. They love it. A female coming out there, an older female that can throw a football. We do lunch. I do chalk on the ground, basketball, and it was all to change that mindset on who we were. And it honestly, it was the best thing. I mean, the kids loved us. You stopped hearing, at least the schools I was going to, how bad the police were. They didn't believe
Yeah.
that. You
Yeah.
know, they didn't believe what they were being told, and it's not their fault.
Right.
So that's what I spent up until, well, I got him. Then we continued into the schools, but I wasn't playing football because I always had him with me. So April of 2022, I found out about it's Brevard County, Florida, and they do a deal where the inmates train most of the dogs. Sometimes a department can bring their own dog in, but I found out about that and had a little help from a wonderful lieutenant who helped me write a proposal, and it worked its way up through the police department and it got approved.
Oh.
And so I went to the training mid-December to pick him up, and you don't have a choice on which dog you get.
Oh, okay.
So actually he was on the street. You gonna leave me?
Oh, look at him. He's done for a little bit.
He
Nice appearance.
he was on the street as a stray dog, roaming the streets of Florida in September of 2022. And he got picked up and taken to their animal control. And I mean, honestly, you look at the rescues and stuff, black dogs don't get adopted very often.
Or black.
And he didn't have any interest. There was no interest in him. And the sheriff's department there, they have somebody that looks at the demeanor of the shelter dogs and of their animal control, because they're all connected to the sheriff's department. And she saw something in him that I definitely didn't see it when they sent me a picture. And they took him into the program because of his temperament. And that's how he ended up in the program.
Okay.
So really cool story, because he was on the street in September. I really wanted in the September class, and we didn't get in the September class. He would have still been a street dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So it was all meant to work out the way it did.
More so than you can believe, because when I got a picture of him the week before I went to school to pick him up, I said, I'm not taking that dog. I asked for a female short-haired dog, thinking in my mind that I was going to get a lab or something. And they send me this picture. It was a horrible picture. And I sent it to my lieutenant, a lieutenant. I said, I'm going to be made fun of. This dog is ugly. People are going to make fun of me. And so I went to Florida and I told the trainer, I said, look, I asked for a female short-haired dog. And she said, yeah, but you have female dogs at home. And I'm like, okay, I've never had a male dog. Never had a male dog. And she said, he's going back to Nashville with you. I'm like, okay. And I really thought people were going to make fun of him. I met him. He didn't really. I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I got to take him. It was that week that he started to grow on me. And like I tell kids, don't judge somebody on the way they look or what they wear. So often we meet a new person and we don't want anything to do with them, especially kids in school. And had the stars not aligned, then I would have missed out on what I consider to be one of the best things for Nashville that ever came about, the school system, and I'd have missed out on my best friend.
Oh, Faye, that's such a great story.
Yeah.
So you've kind of been involved in a lot of kids and children's stuff for a while. You talked before, long before Sgt Bo, when you were with the Nashville Police, about working in like child
abuse.
Child abuse.
Did you get into like child abuse and child sex trafficking?
No, child sex crimes and child abuse. The cases that come in, and then somehow or another they threw death under 12 on the section that I was working. So I had that type of case. 7 years, I think it was, and that's when I decided to go in the school system.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was really good to work those cases and then go into the schools because I kind of had a better insight on what kids actually go through.
Mm,
And you get a lot of these kids in schools that are their trauma. I mean, they live through trauma. That
right.
they have bad households, they've had bad family lives. And so I really understood that,
Hmm.
and it carried over into what I was doing.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
because
Yeah.
you would be amazed at what kids go you'd be amazed at what kids go through.
Yeah.
Right. And so, did they have already a program through the police department where police officers went into the school system to talk to uh,
Yeah.
the
Or were
kids
you
in schools?
piloted? Did you pilot
No,
the
so
program?
I was a school resource officer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most of, I guess, probably everywhere the now has school resource officers.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would just be assigned to, I worked middle schools most of the time. So I would be assigned to the middle school, which one of them I stayed 10 years at. And I actually I've had parents come to me and say, well, you had me in school, you were my DARE officer, and now you
Oh,
have
back to
my fifth
dare.
grader or my eighth grader. So it kind of comes full circle when you've been
Yeah.
doing it as long as I did it.
Yeah.
I was at an event, I was somewhere off duty in my hometown, and I had an adult walk up to me and said, you're a police officer. Well, it's kind of like, maybe. you know,
What do
How do
you,
I
why do
answer
you
this
want to
question?
know?
depends on what you want. And
Yeah.
he was an adult. He was in his late 20s and remembered me from fifth grade.
Oh, yeah.
And so, there's never been a doubt. I doubt a lot of things I've done in life, but there's never a doubt that I made a difference
Difference
in the
in
school
those schools.
system when we kids. And that's, I guess, why I was definitely wasn't ready to leave.
Uh,
But I wasn't going to work without him. It was kind of when he came about, it's a very strong partnership.
Well, I was going to ask you, what kind of things did you see, like differences, did you see when you were working as the resource officer without him, and then when he began to come to school every day with you? What kind of sort of differences did he make?
Some kids are standoffish with the police.
yeah.
Just like parents are kind of standoffish with the police. And well, it was never about me when he came into the picture. It was because they could relate to, hey, you're a police officer, but you're really cool because you have a dog. And the
Uh,
dog's wearing a police vest and he's got a badge and everything. So it just kind of it changed the way people actually looked at the police.
uh-huh.
Adults would walk up to you and carry on a conversation. Um, there was one student that I don't think I'd had him less than 3 months, and they were bringing the child down the hallway, and he was just non-responsive to any of them. He wouldn't look up, he wouldn't talk, and we stopped him in the hallway, and I said, "Hey, can I have a try?" So they just kind of set him down. So he was sitting in the hallway. He was just sitting in the floor. Well, he's taught me so many things. And he laid down in front of this kid and just laid
Uh,
there facing him. And now, it's nothing I could train, and it's nothing that he was ever trained to do. He laid down, and I tried to make small talk with the boy. And honestly, we sat there for 17 minutes. And
yeah.
I'm a very patient and a hard-headed person, and I wasn't giving up. So
Yeah.
we sat there, and he wasn't talking to me. And I watched his hand, and it reached out after 17 minutes and it touched Bo's leash.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I thought, I got you now.
Well,
And he did. He finally rubbed on Bo, and he
uh,
started talking to me, and I said, "Hey, how would you like to lead Bo to the office?" And the staff member that was with him said, "Look, if you can get him back to class,
that would
that's
be,
all we wanted." He said, "But usually we have to call his parent because he stops responding to anybody in the school." So
uh-huh.
I asked the kid, I said, "Hey, how about you lead Bo to the classroom?" And when he did, I said, "How about I see if it's okay if you take Bo in the classroom and I'll tell everybody that you brought him in." And that's what we did.
Oh,
And so when I
great.
went in the classroom, I said, "Hey, he wanted to bring the dog in. The reason we're here is because of him. I don't remember his name." and I let everybody pet Bo. And
Oh,
it just kind of it built that kid up. It built
yeah.
his
Oh,
self-esteem
yeah,
up.
definitely.
And so because we weren't at one school, we had different opportunities like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
too, Faye, I was thinking when you were talking about that, for, I worked in the school system for many years too, and just thinking of the children that I interacted with, for many of them, their only interaction with a police officer was when that policeman came and knocked on their door and took their parent away.
yep, yep. And it
So,
was bad.
yes.
It was
So
bad.
I remember how thankful we were when the first DARE officers came in. You know,
It's heartbreak, and it was heartbreaking for me when all the protests and people
oh,
just they
sure.
had a different. I mean, we were the enemy,
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, it was just especially for kids, because we're not their enemy, and if they're
right.
scared of us when they need help, they're not
They're
coming
not
to
going
us.
to out.
And
Exactly.
so I just spent, I mean, that was kind of I didn't leave. That was kind of a mission that I
Uh-huh.
set out to do. And honestly, Bo was just he was just the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
Honest, I had never ever thought about having a dog, having a therapy dog, having a dog in the schools
right.
until April of 2022 when I heard about Brevard County.
Yeah.
And I thought, how cool would that be? Because I'm definitely Bo is number 4 at my house. I am
Yeah.
definitely a dog person. So three of them are rescues. Bo has taught me to tell people, you know, don't don't buy, don't
Yeah.
go out and buy the breeds and stuff like that. Look for you're missing the dog. You're missing the best dogs in the world. They're right
Yeah.
under your noses, and they're the dogs that need homes.
Yeah. We always say they're diamonds in the rough.
They are.
Yeah.
And for this, I actually there's a therapy dog place that it's a group and they take therapy dogs around and I know we're going to talk about the Covenant School. They were always there and they will only use they really only want to use golden retrievers and it has to be a full bred golden retriever and they have to start uh with it as a puppy. And so I
Oh.
actually, they love Bo and it's like I tell them, you don't have to. And they know he's better than any dog they have, to be honest. And uh you don't have to. It was like he was bred for this. He's about 60% pit. He's got golden retriever, he's got poodle, and then 8% super mutt. So he's just a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
He's just a mixture of a good boy.
Yeah.
He's well, so his vest says 100% good boy because everywhere when I first got him, everybody would say, "Oh gosh, what kind of dog is he?" And I would start and I would say, "Well, he's part golden retriever, he's part poodle, he's mostly pit." And then it was like I looked at somebody and I said, "He's 100% good boy." And
Yes.
that's what kind of dog he is. It doesn't matter what he has in him. He's 100% good boy.
I love the little white on the top of the
He's
head.
so,
Well,
he's
and
so cute.
actually, if you look at the pictures, when we first got him, it was solid white. And
Yeah.
as he has aged, it has gone away.
Oh, he's getting grayer.
No, no, it has
Getting
turned back a dark
Oh,
color.
it's, yeah, I can see.
He's
Yeah.
lost it. So I said he's kind of reversing in age. So sometimes we color it though. We'll take his little mohawk and we'll make it blue or we'll make it red. Just whatever fits him that day.
Yeah, that's perfect with the kids.
Oh
that's
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the school shooting and how Bo was able to be there to be a
Mm,
comfort for folks.
So, remember I said that he was on the street September of 2022, and he looked rough. He's got allergies really bad. So I can't imagine without allergy medicine. So he was all scarred up. So I got him December of 2022. So 3 months after getting him, Nashville had just it was horrendous school shooting.
uh,
Three kids, um, 3 adults were killed.
mm,
So they sent us to the reunification site, which was a church.
Mhm.
And we were waiting on the school buses to get from the school. And so him and I are new to each other. You know, I'd had him 3 months.
Oh,
And they said, okay, he said, when the buses get here, you're going to get on each bus with him, and it'll make the kids feel better, obviously. And then you're going to explain that they're safe and what's fixing to happen. And I'm like, this dog's never been on a school bus. This dog,
oh,
you know, and I didn't know what to do, to be honest. You can be a police officer for, I don't care, 40 years. And until you have that situation, you don't know what to do. And I didn't know what to do. So the buses got there, and that little crapperhead just trotted right up on the bus, walked down the aisle, let people pet him, you know, and their focus suddenly became on him.
oh.
And so all the buses, all the kids went into the basement of the church, and you know, at that point, it was like we just started, and I'm like, so what do we really do? Well, I didn't have to do anything. I
Mm,
mean, literally, he knew what to do, and he never had to say a word.
yeah,
He
yeah,
did. He could do more than any of the adults could
sure.
do, and I maintain that any therapy dog or any dog can do more than what we can do as human beings. We stayed in that, it seemed what seemed like forever, but we went from group to group to group, and he laid down with them, and they laid on him, and it was amazing what he did. And he has a trading card. It's a really neat trading card.
Uh-huh.
So I was passing them out. Some kids ended up with 3 or 4 because they would come back to me and say, "Can I have a trading card?" And then I'd look, and they already had 2 or 3.
Oh,
But it, he knew what to do, and he didn't have to say a word to comfort these kids. To
oh.
where, you know, I didn't know what to do. So we actually stayed with those kids. He never took a break. I knew he should, but he never seemed interested in going outside or taking a break. And gosh, it was probably 5 hours, 6 hours before the last child, you know, before they got the parents, and all the kids reunited. And the only thing was there was staff. And I have to say this, that staff, you couldn't tell who was volunteers and who was staff. They were absolutely amazing. People say
Mm,
that the police were the heroes that day, and it was definitely the staff of the school.
oh, wow.
So we stayed with the staff after that, until the last person left the church. We were literally the last people to leave outside of the custodians. And to say he was exhausted or I was exhausted was an understatement.
Yeah.
But
Dr-
he did it. He just did so much. There's nothing that I could do, or anybody could do. Not even the teachers that dog couldn't do better.
mhm.
And since that time, so honestly, I didn't know a lot about therapy dogs, and so I didn't know what we really could do. So I really didn't have a lot of communication with the Covenant community until I had promised one of the kids when they came back to school, wherever that may be, we would be there.
No.
And so they came back to a church to start school back, and we were there. And I knew what kind of impact he made that day because the kids were getting out of the car and they were running up to him and they were calling him by name. You
Oh.
know, it's Sergeant Bo. It's who remembers name? And you just went through a school shooting. There's a little girl I have a picture of who was the in line. She was the fourth one of the 3 that got killed. You just went through that, but yet you can remember his name. And so they were coming up all excited to see him, and I thought, wow, you really made an impression. Then the
Ah.
parents were coming up, and they were talking to me about that's what their child came home and talked about. They came home and talked about Sergeant Bo. They had these cards, and the parents said that's what they were so happy to talk about and show was the cards, not what had happened.
Mm.
And so from I guess from that day forward, you know, I've not left their side. So any big event they have, or any, like when they went back to their building, we were there for the week. The year's anniversary, him and I were there for them. Matter of fact, we were there the entire week before. They've had a couple of threats, a bomb threat and a school threat. And instantly, I mean, when I found out about it, him and I would go out there. And then we were just going once a week. You know,
Yeah.
that would be a trip that we made once a week to greet the kids, to greet the parents. They do a chapel every morning. Him and I would go to chapel and sit for their service. And honestly, he'd just lay down. He was probably better than some adults and some kids. He'd just lay
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And we have just we have continued with them, and that was the other one of the reasons that I felt leaving the police department was the right thing to do, because I couldn't go places like Covenant if I was still at work with him.
Yeah.
I could go, but we're a team.
Right.
And there was and I didn't spend any time with the parents the day of the shooting, and I didn't remember a lot that day, just what he did and watching him, because he led me that day. This dog was perfect. I later got an email from a dad who basically he said that when they got the call, they had one student at the school, one child at the school, and then they had one at home who wasn't at school that day because I think she was 4. They have a preschool, and they grabbed her and went to the church, and they soon realized that that wasn't the place for her. So they called a neighbor to come get the little girl. And the dad says, he said on the way out the door to take her to the neighbor who had gotten there,
Oh.
says, we ran into you two. And he said, you got down on your knee and you let her love on him. And he says, we'll never forget that.
Oh.
He said, so we try to come up with the things that day that were positive. And he said that was one of the positive things. And I get it too. There's teachers, there's a couple of them that tell Tom, almost every time they see me, we're never going to forget you getting on the bus, because we felt so safe and it took the focus off of everything. And a couple of them will say, Bo and I have been with them since day one. And we keep showing up, as the parents say, we keep showing up. And I said, we're always going to show up.
Oh, what a wonderful story, Faye.
He's a rags to riches story.
Yeah.
I mean, he came from the streets.
Yeah.
And when you say hero, he definitely is more so than, I think he's probably more of a hero than I've ever been in 34 years.
Yeah.
But he's taught me so much.
Well, you bring that up. How did you hear about the Hero Dog Awards? And then, how did you think about, hey, I'm going to apply and put Bo into the Hero Dog Awards?
So I saw the award pop up. Gosh, I don't even know where it was, on the internet. Bo won his first year, 11 months after me having him. He won an award. It's called the FHE. It's a health program out of Florida, and it was and it was their first year of doing it. And it's called First Responder Paws Award. So it's basically for first responder dogs. And I submitted his story to them, and they do things a little bit different. They put all the dogs up for a vote, and the top 10 vote getters, they go to a committee and they pick from his story. And I remember getting the email that said he had won, and I couldn't believe. First off, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And they talked about his story, hands down, was the favorite. So he won that, and I knew about the other one, and for some odd reason, I was just looking at it was perfect timing, because I pulled up Dog Awards, and there it was, and I'm like, he's a hero, and I put him in it. So that's how that came about.
Oh.
And there he is on what is it today, Debbie? National Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Shirt Day. Yeah.
Hey, that was his first. That was his first year, and it was the last day of school.
Oh.
So it was his summer break shirt. Summer break shirt.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. Yep.
You look at the pictures, and so many, but he stayed in costume, like the Santa Claus picture. Every holiday we had something to put him in. I would put him in, and I laugh because my husband says, poor dog. And I'm like, it doesn't bother him. He loves it.
He loves it.
He doesn't mind the outfits. Huh?
He doesn't mind the outfits at all.
Did he go down the slide, or did he just jump up on the bottom?
Nope. He was just standing there.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that to him.
Yeah.
So how exciting was it when you got the email that said he was a semifinalist in this therapy
Yeah.
category?
Oh my gosh. I think I called a couple of people that Bo has some favorites in the school system. And I honestly, again, that's one of those things where this is all over, and I have a hard time believing that he made the top five. Y- but he is. I mean, he's great, and he's got a
Yeah.
great story.
Yes, he
Um,
does.
I just love sharing his story because you have so many people that think that your therapy dogs or that they have to be golden retrievers or labs, or you got to breed them and you got to start when they're 8 weeks old. And you
Oh, he.
don't. I mean, he was a year and 3 months old. He was taken into basically a sheriff's department. Um, he was carried over to the jail. The inmates. This is a nice thing because the inmates have something to love, and they have something to take care of while incarcerated.
Mhm.
And so he spends 3 months there learning sit down and stay. uh, and then we come in and test out with him. You got 4 days. I met him on a Monday, and by Thursday we had to pass all the tests.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
So we bonded together quick.
Quick. Yeah, you didn't have much time, did you?
No. So it's some of these pictures, like the little boy in the wheelchair, he's not trained to do that. He just walks up and he
Uh,
usually puts his head in the laps. Today, for what that day, for whatever reason, he just jumped up on the put his front feet on the chair because that little boy really loves him. And but he was never how he knew to do the things that he does. It's he has a very gentle soul,
yeah.
and human. The one thing I hear about him is he has human-like eyes when you meet him.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's just like when you look into his eyes, there's just
Uh-huh.
something about it. And I say he's an old soul in a young dog's body. I mean,
Yeah.
just gentle. Um, and it's funny when people meet him, they instantly fall in love with him.
Yeah.
Instantly.
I
And
love
so when I first saw him, I thought
that.
he was an ugly, scruffy mutt, and he proved me
He
wrong. He
grew
he
on you, didn't he? Yeah.
he
You didn't realize
No.
that he was a pirate when
Yeah.
you got him.
he was a pirate that day. The little boy in that picture, he has some anxiety with school and stuff, so he got to spend the first 8 to 10 minutes in my office because I had an office at that school.
Uh-huh.
Um, I would always keep snacks for kids because I do know they're hungry. And so he would come and spend the first 10 minutes of his day with Bo, me and Bo. I say Bo. And then he would be able to go to class.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
amazing. It's amazing.
dogs.
Dogs are so much smarter than we are. They are
Yeah.
just able to pick up and recognize what people need from them at the time.
Oh yeah, and I mean that's something that I guess he is so good at. I mean,
Yeah.
uh he knows the difference in, hey, it's time for me to play, or it's time for me to lay down, or this person needs this. He has his own little book, not anything. It was just a generic book off the internet. If my dog Sergeant Bo could talk, and it's always a hit reading to the kids.
Oh.
So
So
he
you're
got
gonna
me. He got me one day because it was something about the book has something about shoestrings and shoes, and I looked down and he had chewed the shoestring up my boot.
oh.
And I'm like, some of the kids said, "Did you teach him to do that?" And I'm like, "Nope."
No, no, not that one. So you're gonna continue on then with your volunteering with Bo.
I am.
That's
I
wonderful.
definitely could not leave. Like that's a teacher. She's a
Yeah.
kindergarten teacher. And the funny thing about her is she gets to love on Bo and lay in the floor with him before her kids do.
Ah,
She is crazy about him. And no, I wouldn't leave. There's certain schools that we spend a lot of time at,
yeah.
and Covenant being one of them. And we may even pick up and do other things now,
Yeah.
um, because we do have time.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I missed. So the first week of school was the week before he had surgery on Monday, and so we actually visited 4 schools that day.
Oh, good.
And so he got to see the kids, the teachers that hadn't seen him all summer, and then Covenant didn't come back until this week. We went out to see the teachers, but the kids didn't come back. So he had surgery on Monday, and actually this is going to be a much easier recovery for him.
Good.
So they said that he should be ready to go in 4 weeks, just no more than what we do.
Yeah.
And he's doing really well today.
Well,
So
So
yeah,
he had surgery this past Monday,
he had
meniscus.
surgery on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's he doing? We saw him jump up there and head on out.
it looked like he was
He
doing
jumped
pretty well.
down, but I was holding that back leg.
Uh-huh.
He had so much trouble for the first one.
Oh.
So that's the reason for the second. The ACL surgery on dogs, that TPLO, is terrible.
Mm.
And then Metro sent us out to another school shooting 3 weeks into that surgery, even though, yeah, and then delayed his rehab. So that's
Oh,
why I feel like this is part of that. So he's had 2 major surgeries on that leg in 8 months.
oh,
But
goodness.
this one is definitely, we went ahead and took the plate and the screws out from the first surgery so that we wouldn't have any problems with that. But he definitely is doing much better. He's walking on the leg. It's almost like a relief because he had the torn meniscus.
Mm.
So maybe we're on the road to everything with that leg being
Yeah.
fixed.
Yeah.
And yeah, but there's no way that I wouldn't take him places and volunteer and do anything that we could.
Yeah.
So heaven forbid another school shooting, but I'll guarantee that if there is, I don't have to be a police officer to be there. The only thing that's going to change between, what I was doing prior to June to what I'm going to do is, one, it's a volunteer thing.
Uh-huh.
And two, it's the fact that, I'm not doing it as a law enforcement officer, and he's not doing it as a law enforcement dog.
Right.
He's still a therapy dog, so it's kind of like, it's the companionship, the friend and their companion.
Yeah.
And although I don't think people can get past the schools, it's always Officer O, Officer O.
Yeah.
So it's Officer O and Sergeant Bo was the way it was supposed to
Oh,
come out. I think sometimes it's Sergeant Bo and Officer O.
oh, my.
Right.
Well,
Because he actually has
called Billy.
his name was Chopper when I got to Florida,
Oh, okay.
but he didn't know it. So they had, in that 3 months, they had called him Chopper. And so I'm like, well, he doesn't know his name, so we're going to change that.
You're going to start over. Yeah.
We're going to start over. And I
There
went through so many names, and of course we had to name him before we could test with him. And so finally it was, I'm like, Officer O and Bo. So I thought, you know what, let's call him Bo. Well, there was another officer who had gone with me, and there was a sergeant in the police department. He had worked 37 years. He had retired, and then he had gone to work for our TDOT system on the interstate. And just a great guy. And anybody that can do over 30 years in law enforcement, I have such great respect for.
Yeah.
And he was the neighbor of the officer that went with me. He had passed away the day we left for Florida.
Oh,
And
sorry.
his name was Bo Gusky, but he went by Sergeant Bo. So
Oh,
we ended up calling him Sergeant, naming him after him, and giving Bo his birthday. So
oh,
he's got a really, really special story in that, right? And
yeah.
then, of course, he's got a great story in where he came from. You did show a couple of pictures of the of his little puppy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks really good.
So this came about. They both have the same bandanas.
Uh-huh.
Right before the first year anniversary of Covenant, I found I found the dog on the internet and knew that they could do the bandanas, and so I found somebody to fund them because the police department did not.
Yeah.
And we got every student and every staff member at
Oh,
Covenant one of these dogs.
oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's
And that's
incredible.
the highlight. That's probably, besides Bo, that day, honestly, has been probably the best of my career.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. To be
when
able
those kids saw
Oh,
these dogs, and
y-
even the staff was as bad as the kids because they didn't realize they were getting one.
getting one too.
And
Oh,
yes, and
wow.
it's all the time that staff, a lot of them keep them in their classrooms.
Yeah.
And like I've had a parent a parent say, "Oh, he's been to Orlando. He took the Orlando trip with us, and this
Oh,
one, he sleeps with their son." And one of the teachers walked up to me right after they got him, and she said, "Hey, I slept with Sergeant Bo last night." And I'm like, "Do you need to tell me something?" So he has been. So I have ordered a lot more, and one of the pictures you showed was a little boy he's at a different elementary school that I had an office at, and it's his second battle with cancer. And he's
uh,
a first grader. He's a second grader now, and for whatever reason, him and Bo connected like I mean, just
oh,
instantly. And every morning that I was at the school, he would come and find Bo and sit down in front of him, and Bo would lick his face, and he loved it. And so he went on homebound, and then he came back one day to get something. So he got a Bo dog. Anytime
oh,
I can get
good.
these out to something like that.
Yeah,
And so I didn't get to see him. He's on homebound again. So soon as Bo is
good.
ready, we'll go visit him at home.
Yeah,
And so these absolutely were great. So
Those are very, very cool. And thank you so much for your service.
yeah,
Heroes on both sides of the leash. And so Bo is doing some amazing things, but you're
you
right there
have,
taking him to all those places and putting the
thank
time
you.
in. And so thank you for everything that you have done.
Well, and that's the trainer from Florida. She always reminded me, and there's been other people. I give Bo all the credit in the world, and I would give other people credit when I didn't have him for what I was doing. But she says, the dog's only as good as his handler. The
yeah,
dog is only gonna do, first off, everything that you feel he feels in the leash. But the
uh-huh,
thing about that is, from the end of the leash that I was on, I got to see him working and happy, but I got to see the people that he made happy.
yeah,
Kids would come into school, they wouldn't be happy, they had a bad morning, they see him, and their face lights up.
hmm,
So I had the best of both worlds. I had him, and I got to see from the end of the leash what he could do.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so yeah, it's
Yeah,
great. It was
yeah.
it's still going to be great.
It's
yes,
very
it
cool to have him and see the impact that he makes, on people's lives and the kids' lives, and so, thank you so much for everything that you do for the
yeah,
community and for the school
Appreciate it.
system. I mean, such traumatic things, and to be right there with him, to be able to give them something positive to talk about, in some of the worst situations. So,
yeah,
He did
definitely,
uh,
that a lot.
so
yeah,
And even if
everyone,
they're having a good even if they're having a good day, teachers, it's kind of funny because I always kept candy. I just have a stash of candy. I have a guy that would give me a ton of candy to give out. So I always kept candy in my pockets. But you can give a teacher a
oh,
candy
yeah,
bar
oh,
and
yeah,
let them pet Bo, and they're
you
gonna have a
made
great
their,
day.
it's better
And
than
if
an
they have
apple.
a great day, their kids are gonna have a great day.
Much,
yeah,
much better than an apple. So,
yeah,
Yes.
oh, yeah,
everyone go out and vote. The Hero Dog Awards. Voting is open from now until September the 15th. Go to
Come here, baby.
AmericanHumane.org. Vote for your favorite dog. You can vote once a day, once in each category. Please go to those stories and read the stories and pick out the dog in those categories that you really want to get behind. Thank you so much for your service
yeah,
and so much for taking wonderful care of Sergeant Bo and bringing him in. And best of luck to his recovery. And hopefully you
yeah,
guys will be right back out there really soon.
We
yeah,
will 3 or 4 weeks,
uh,
and
you're
3 or 4
gonna
weeks, and we'll be
impact,
doing it again.
That
yeah,
that's
So
you're gonna
that sounds
impact
great.
lots more lives.
Yeah, we'll have to get back. Sergeant, you and Sergeant Bo were the important things. We'll have to get back on later and talk about this pickleball thing sometime.
Yeah,
played this morning. Definitely retirement has been good for my pickleball game.
Yeah, that's
oh,
cool.
there you go.
And if you get some free time tomorrow when you're in Louisville, text me, look us up. We'll hook up.
I definitely will text you because I will be there the majority of the day. I am leaving here at 5 o'clock in the morning to head that
Oh,
way.
Yeah,
wow. Well,
sounds
safe
good. Everybody go to AmericanHumane.org. Get your vote in today. Get your vote in every day between now and September 15th. Vote once a day in each category. Sergeant Bo is in the therapy dog category. Pick out the one that you think it touches your heart and make sure you get your vote in. Thank you so much, Faye, for joining us.
travel.
Thank you.
Give Bo
Bye-bye.
all the
Bye.
hugs and kisses today.
He actually went to sleep.
Oh, okay.
That's about right. Have a great day.